A very good afternoon to you. Now, it's only a few days to go before Kenya hosts the Safari Rally, one of the legs in the WRC Championships. And today, we want to speak with one of the prolific Kenyan rally drivers that we have who will be taking part in the Safari Rally for the third time. In 2014, it was the Kenya Motorsport Personality of the Year. 2015, he was the Sawyer Sports Personality of the Year, and he's won multiple awards after that. Who am I talking about? Nikhil Sachania. Now, we are in his garage, and we want to get this conversation on what to expect in 2023 at the WRC Safari Rally. Remember, he's co-driven by Dan Patel, and he will be telling us about the chemistry between the two of them. Remember, they've been together for more than 6 years, and also the preparations that he's put in place for the 2023 Safari Rally. But before we get into that conversation, let's first take a look at the highlights from 2022 Safari Rally, where he was one of the participants.
Evans won the opening test of Saturday afternoon, but his Yaris windscreen developed a washing problem, so any sustained attack for the rally lead was then called on. Rovanperä used the afternoon to take more time off the grid, his biggest rival. Cal had taken a scenic route through the rerun of the Muddy Warrior stage. He must have wondered at the time if his lack of speed had lost him. The exact opposite was true. And on Sunday, the young flying Finn consolidated his advantage, winning his fourth rally of the year. Like his win in Portugal, this latest episode of the Rovanperä show had defied logic. This was a victory run as the first car onto the road. And it means that the struggle goes on for Elfyn Evans. He left Africa still chasing his young Finnish teammate. Just in case the rally leader wounded himself on Parel stage, Elfyn gave it his best and kept the young winner as honest as he could. Elfyn had to settle for second place. Third in the Toyota lockout of the top four places in Africa, Takamoto Katsuta. Again, he hadn't put a wheel out of place. The best of the rest, and rarely do we get to say that about Seb Ogier. Despite 4 stage wins, he was in 4th place. Friday's puncture was a big blow. Thierry Neuville won the end of Rally Power stage. He had to. He dropped almost 11 minutes to the rally winner over the weekend. To snaffle 5 bonus points right at the end keeps him in 2nd place in this year's title race.
Of course, some of the highlights are from the 2022 WRC Safari Rally here in Kenya that was held in Naivasha, Nakuru County. And thank you, Nikhil Sachania, for making time to talk to us here on Inside Sports on, the journey forward on the Safari Rally and, the lessons from last year. And before we even get into that, we can see the car. You've totally taken everything apart. Why do you have to do this? And, what are the preparations so far for the Safari?
Yeah, thank you for having me, first of all. We've, as you can see, the car's scattered into pieces everywhere. We are 22 days to the Safari.
Yes.
So this is our usual preparations that we do, where we take out more or less everything from the car. So it's more or less empty shell. And then we, do all our necessary checks for the engine, the gearbox, all the cross members, the suspension, and obviously the bodywork, make sure the chassis is in good condition. If any repairs need to be done, it's done now, and then put together in probably a week's time.
How many people do you have working on this?
So we, the people that work on the car is Tinu Khan, and he has a team of about 4 people who are also part of our service team. So they're very they know the car very, very well.
Yes.
So it's not like random people are jumping in and out of the car. It's people who are in the service park. They know the car in and out. So about 4 to 5 people who are on the car.
4 to 5 people who are on the car. Your car is different, very special. If you can explain to Kenyans, how different your car is from the other rally cars.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the base, it's the same as any other rally car. the main difference in this car is the hand controls. I drive everything with my hands. So the steering wheel has 2 rings on it. There's a ring at the front where you press the accelerator, you push down to press the accelerator. There's a ring at the back where you squeeze to press the brake. And the gearbox is an automatic manual transmission, which I change, but it doesn't have a clutch. So that's the only difference that is
between this
car and another rally car. Everything else is identical.
Does that give you an advantage? Or it's just the same?
I think in terms of being a rally car,
yes,
it's almost on par with the category that I'm in, which is Group N. So every Group N car more or less is almost a level playing field.
Yes.
In terms of the hand controls,
yes,
I don't know. It's if you were to drive it, I don't know. It might take you a few rallies to get used to, because it's second nature now, using my hands to maneuver the car.
Yes.
So I don't think it's an advantage or a disadvantage. Per se.
Let's get back to the Safari Rally. Last year you finished 18th overall. This will be your 3rd Safari Rally. What can you make of the whole experience?
Yeah, I mean, last year was a very, very amazing experience, and even the year before. To have all the drivers from abroad come down, it's a whole different vibe, especially up in Naivasha. The whole of Kenya is coming together into one county. It's a surreal experience. Yeah, having international people here, our local crowd. Yeah, it's phenomenal.
It's a phenomenal. 2 years so far done. This will be the 3rd year. What lessons can you pick from the last 2 years that you've been on the rally?
Yeah, I mean, look, we all know how the Safari is. We've had it here for almost 70 years. It's unpredictable, as we all know. I know the game has changed into it's more of a sprint race, but it's still a lot to do with endurance, with the way our stages are, the unpredictability of the wildlife. And obviously the unpredictability of the rain and the weather. Like last year we had showers come in halfway as we were driving on stage, and it threw off a lot of the international drivers and a couple of our local drivers, myself included. It's a dry patch, all of a sudden you're in the wet and the car's sliding around. But yeah, it'll be a good challenge. As we know, it's been raining up in Nakuru County. So I'm hoping for rain. I think it'll give a good mix.
It will give us a good experience, even for the fans.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, definitely. Unfortunately, your co-driver or navigator rather, Deep, did not make it here. But you guys have been together for more than 6 years. What can you say about the chemistry between the two of you?
Yeah, I mean, Deep and I, we've been friends for quite a number of years. Our families know each other for quite some time. So, we've always been friends, and now when we're in the car together, I think it's been 4 years. Right? Yeah, actually 6. Yeah, they say 5-6 years in the car. It's a nice chemistry that we have together. Being friends, I think, helps a lot.
Yes.
We're always joking, smiling in the car. When it comes down to business, we know when to focus, when to have a easy time. When we're doing recce, it's always, good vibes, good fun. When it's down to getting into the office, where, heads are focused and synchronized there.
Last year, 18th overall. This year, Kenyans are definitely looking at you. You're a big name in rallying in the country. What should they expect?
Yeah, look, last year I had tried to predict a top 15 finish at least. I'm looking for that this year as well. Last year, unfortunately, we had a bit of issue on the last stage, which threw us off to get that top 15. I'm hoping, a top 15 finish, and within the Kenyan crew, at least a top 5 finish, yeah.
Rallying, from experience, I know it can be a very, very expensive sport. What can you say about, KCB coming to support you as a driver and giving you that push towards the Safari?
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate KCB having them on board, having me as one of the drivers. The support that they give us, all the exposure obviously monetary terms, a lot of the parts we do need to import them. The tires, we need to get them from WRC themselves. We can't use any tires that we use for the KNRC. So there is quite a bit of expenditure that does take place in rallying. And with KCB on board, it does, it cushions that blow, especially in these economic hard times. But their support is phenomenal. The team is fully motivated, especially with a big corporate such as KCB on board. Everyone is hyped up that, hey, we've got a sponsor behind us. We can push, we can push to break the car and make sure we get a good finish. We're not scared taking a corner too fast or too slow now.
You've mentioned about tough economic times. Do you feel that is where we did not have a bigger pool in terms of registration to this year's safari?
Yeah, I mean that is one of the reasons, I would presume. There is also another factor that in the WRC you do need a car that's perfectly homologated to their standards. There's a lot of safety regulations that comes into play.
Yes.
So it is a mix of the regulations and obviously monetary terms. It does get a bit expensive. Yeah.
Let's talk about the FIA. How helpful have they been to you in terms of making sure that everything in terms of specification for the car, you have everything in place?
Yeah, so the FIA has an Accessibility and Disability Commission, which they actually came down to inspect the vehicle just before the first WRC, or I think during the candidate event, where they came to inspect my hand controls to make sure that they're in safe condition. In case of an accident, I'm able to get out of the car safely. When the controls are in use, they are operating in a manner that's safe. So there's a whole procedure that they go through. They inspect the entire car. Any other modifications that help me drive the car, being in my condition, they note it down and they register it as a homologated part. So the car with me in it is now then homologated with a certificate for it to be allowed to drive in the WRC or even the Africa Championship.
You are the only, African driver who is in the, I think, SPV? Or
no, so now we're in the Group N.
Group
before
N.
it was SPV. Yes.
Yeah, before it was SPV.
Yeah.
And of course, people will be asking, who's this guy that, does not use pedals. He uses everything is done with hands.
Yeah.
And everybody will looks at you. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, it's always nice to be an inspiration. That's my main goal, to inspire the youth, inspire people who are in my condition. That it doesn't have to be rallying per se. It can be, if you put your mind to it, whatever you want to achieve, you can. Just because you're in a wheelchair or, you don't even have to be in a wheelchair.
Yes.
You can still manage to do what you want. There's nothing stopping you, to be honest.
Do you feel like the performances that you put in your condition are also inspiring other guys that want to go into rallying that have the same condition?
Yeah, I do get a few people on Instagram, on Facebook, that they do contact me from other countries on how to kind of get into the sport, what's the way forward. So I try to give my advice. I push them to the FIA to try and get some more information depending on the region they're in. So yeah, it is very nice and to have people acknowledge that I'm doing these things and I'm being viewed.
What are the challenges that you go through as a rally driver with your condition?
To be honest, I think it's the same challenges that every other rally driver has. For me, when we're doing the local circuit,
Yes.
I guess the remoteness of the areas that we're in sometimes brings the challenge of pushing the wheelchair around and things like that in the service park. But I've got quite a number of friends in rallying with our crew, so getting around isn't really a problem. Obviously, the hotels and stuff when we go out into like Eldoret or some of the remote areas aren't very accessible.
Yes.
But it's something that you overcome. You just figure it out and try and make what's best of it. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, when it comes down to rallying when you're in the car,
Yes.
I think the challenges are the same as every other driver.
Yes. Let me put it this way. Some Kenyans who are not per se rally fans will look at the type of car that you're using and wonder why you're using an Evo and not any other car. Why?
Okay, I use the Evo because it had this specific gearbox where we were able to modify and use it in its automatic position.
Yes.
So it makes it easier for me to not have even more things on the steering wheel, such as a clutch and all that sort. The other reason is, I mean, it's a production vehicle, which is allowed for rallying. So Group N is normally a production vehicle. So you have the Subarus, you've got the Mitsubishis, you've got the Toyotas, all that kind of stuff. And the Mitsubishi has been proven here. It's a championship winning car.
Yes.
So, and the parts are available. It's a car that performs in our terrain.
And finally, your message to Kenyan fans ahead of the 2023 Safari Rally.
Yeah, I mean, I hope to see all of them out there in Naivasha, up in Elementaita, and I hope they all have fun. I hope they're out there to cheer us on. And yeah, the main thing is to be safe and enjoy themselves, yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, Nikhil.
Thank you.
Well, after speaking to Nikhil Sachania, right now I want us to speak to the manager, the team manager, Nikhil Sachania Racing. That is Tino. How are you doing?
I'm very good. How about yourself?
I'm doing very all right. And of course, we've spoken to Nikhil and he's told us, his wonderful story, what to expect from him at the rally. And if you can tell us from your point of view, what should we expect from this year?
Well, as you can see, we have stripped the car down. We are rebuilding it totally so that we can have the best of the car. And of course, he's going to try his level best. And hopefully, we can try and finish in the top 15.
So top 15 is the target for this year. How many people do you have working on the car?
Normally, I have 2 on a daily basis, but then during the rally, we have about 6 people on it. Yeah.
6 people?
Including myself.
Yes, including yourself, 6 people. And of course, as we can see, everything is moved apart. But if you can explain to us, Nikhil's car is different.
Yeah, Nikhil's is different, of course, because we are using hand controls. I mean, he's driving with his hands because he's paraplegic. And I can show you exactly
Please,
what...
show us how that works.
So, okay, generally, he doesn't use the paddles at all. We have a cover for the paddle.
Yes.
So everything is on the steering wheel. So this is his actually steering wheel.
Yes.
This is his accelerator.
Yes.
So every time he pushes it down, that's when he's accelerating.
Yes.
And the back ring here, that is the brake. So he pulls the brake up to slow down and stuff. So everything is controlled here. And then on the gearbox, we're using a SST gearbox, which is easier for him, at least for takeoffs and stuff. But then after that, he puts it in a mode which is just as good as a sequential box.
Yes.
Yeah. Basically, that's the difference between this car and all the other cars.
So how long will all this take to be put in place before the rally?
Okay, we are running short of time.
Yes.
But hopefully in another, I would say about 10 days, we should be ready ready to go.
Another 10 days, you should be ready to go. Anything that is, any other thing that is special on this car aside from this?
Okay, just like all the other rally cars,
Yes.
the suspension system, and of course all the reinforcements, the fuel tank,
Yes.
The safety devices, all that, just the way all the other rally cars are.
All the other rally cars are. Your message to Kenyan rally fans ahead of the safari?
Go enjoy the rally, and be safe.
That is the message. Go ahead and enjoy the rally. Be safe. Of course, this is, the team manager, Nikhil Sachania Racing Team, giving us an insight on how this car looks like, the Evo that Nikhil Sachania uses for the rally, and he's saying that they're targeting a top 15 finish. Well, we'll be waiting and praying for Nikhil that he does that this time round.